have someone give me a time check?
Somebody else.
8:15. Oh, we're good. Okay. So I just want to say something. Hearing my beautiful daughter speak, I am blessed. I have the most beautiful, excellent daughters. I birthed 3 of my 5 sons. And then this world has given me all these gorgeous daughters. And I'm so blessed with them. They're so powerful and amazing. Oh, they thrill me. And what I want to say also, oh, someone needs mama. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Papa. Good night. Good night. It'll feel better. It's time for bed for you. Good night, baby. Oh, my babies have to go to bed. Bye-bye, girl. I just want to say very briefly that something that came up during our conversation was 4 beautiful sisters here sitting at the table before the party really got started. And we were talking about how with all this conversation about mortality that we're doing, that we do have to be careful culturally. And more I am starting to hear young black women say, I'm afraid to have a baby, I don't want to die. This is the wrong message. There is nothing wrong with black women's bodies. We're not dying in childbirth, and our babies are not dying before their first year of life because there's something wrong with black mamas and black babies. Okay? We birth babies. We were birthed babies when we were enslaved.
That's right. That's right.
And we had better mortality then than we have now. Okay? We had better mortality then because our babies were a product. And capitalism loves a good product.
Yeah, tell the truth.
Our babies were a product to be bought and sold and traded, given as gifts. And a bow on the baby's head, right? Your mistress of the family would get married and she would be given a slave as a gift to be taken to her new home, like a set of china. Okay? So, of course, the products were valued better. Not that the slave was eating sirloin steak, but she certainly was given enough to this also shows how little is required to grow a healthy baby. Right? She didn't have to eat steak. But she was given enough to maintain that pregnancy and bring that product to life. The current culture that we live in doesn't have a need for a whole bunch of black and brown and poor people running around. You know, black and brown and poor people, they sit around and they talk and they start revolutions and stuff. We don't want a bunch of them here. And so there's a lot of systems in place to make sure that there are a lot fewer black and brown and poor people running around. Just enough to do the work, just enough to be in the jails, and just enough to make money for the 1%. So we need to make sure our sisters know that, and our little daughters know that. There's no need for you to fear to bring a baby into this world. Your body can do that. If you choose that, if you are blessed to be called into motherhood and you say yes to that glorious challenge, your body can do it. And you, as an elder female in the community, as a mama, auntie, sister, you're going to help her do that. And of course, hopefully she has a loving mate who will be excited and happy and helping her also. So I just want to say that. We have to counteract that, because once something becomes trendy and cute, it loses all of its power and magic. Doulas have become trendy and cute. I feel sad.
Are we gonna take it back?
Mommy says so. I agree. I agree.
That's the plan. All right, y'all. We all on this.
I'm ready for that.
Sacred work.
That's right.
So yes, ma'am. And is there one or two more people who have something to say? Come on, Miss Kim.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to take a seat. My name is Tonifer. I'm a lactation consultant and a doula. And I came into birth work, since before I had my first son, and he's 12. So it's been quite a journey. But along the lines of what Mama Samsara has been saying, I just want to say we have to change the narrative. We have to show and model how we thrive how we've survived and how we have overcome in spite of everything. And lately there's been a lot of focus on the negative. There's been a lot of focus on the deaths. And not to say that those things don't deserve to be spoken on, but it's been so much emphasis that there are women who are literally traumatized, pregnant women who, from the first day that they seek prenatal care, they're inundated with this message that you're at risk, that, you know, you're gonna die, that your education won't save you, that degree you got won't save you, you know, and it's provoking a lot of anxiety. And I had to tell a mother, she hasn't had her baby yet, but I had to tell her, you know, tune out, turn it off. It's okay if you need to dismiss negative people from your life, because you have to bring forth this baby, this child into the world, and you have to preserve every bit of your sacred energy and your life force towards dedicating to this child. So it's okay to tell people, you know what, please, I can't listen to that. I appreciate your concerns, but this is my journey. And I remember being pregnant with my first child and people wanting to tell me their horrible stories about their childbirth. And I remember telling someone, I want to feel it all. If it hurts, I want to know that it hurts. I want to experience all of it. I want to feel it. I don't want to be numb to it. I want to feel every last bit, because I want my birth story to be my story. And I want to be able to tell what it was for me. And I did, and it wasn't this story that I was told. It wasn't this horrible experience that I had heard over and over again. But I knew that birth was powerful and transformative because my mother told me her birth story of me being her only girl, her 8th child. And I knew that my grandmother had birthed 10 children. So I knew that I had this power that had been passed down from my mother's womb. She got it passed down from her mother's womb, and so on. So I knew that I was connected to these powerful and strong women, and that I too had that ability. And I needed the chance and the opportunity to tell my own story. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I need to have my own story. And I want other women to have their own story. Through doing this birth work, I found my calling in helping women with breastfeeding. Something that I never thought that I would end up doing. But that's where I found that I was needed and that I was called to do this work. No matter how these babies were born, no matter how early they were born, I knew that babies needed their mother's milk. I knew that that breast milk was healing. That for mothers who I've worked with who had preterm babies who felt like their bodies had failed. Their bodies had failed to sustain their baby in pregnancy. There was some hope of redemption through breastfeeding. And to sustain that as long as possible. And to see that in this medical system, how devalued breast milk has been. How devalued breasts in general have been. That there is a specialty in medicine for every part of the body. But there is not a specialty in medicine for the breast unless they have cancer. That through all this cancer research, that has happened. And I was on a group, a Bay Area breastfeeding mothers group, and a woman shared a story about how she carried some gene that put her at higher risk for breast cancer and other reproductive cancers. And she shared that she was going to have a double mastectomy and eventually have a hysterectomy and all this stuff to prevent cancer. And it broke my heart. It broke my heart because she shared the story about how she knew that she carried this gene and that her she had breastfed her babies, and how much joy that gave her in breastfeeding. And now she had to remove this part of her body that nourished and comforted her babies. And it's heartbreaking that we have a medical system that devalues women's bodies so much that the best advice after billions and billions of dollars in research is to tell a woman, cut off your breasts, remove your uterus, remove your ovaries, remove your fallopian tubes, remove everything about you that is female, that is life-sustaining and life-nourishing. You have to throw it away. So through helping women with breastfeeding, I've been able to see the empowerment that they've gained, that being able to find that strength and find their voice back, and to cope with, meeting their own goals. And I don't pressure any woman, into breastfeeding. I'm not the breastfeeding Nazi, or police like some nurses like to say in the hospital, but helping every mother, every father, every family to define what their own breastfeeding goals are, and to support her, whether she say my plan is to breastfeed for 1 day, or whether she say her plan is to breastfeed for 10 years. But to support her through that, and to connect her, because I can't do it all, but to connect her and to know that we have a village. We have, women like Samsara, who is teaching the next generation and passing on this knowledge, because we don't have to hold on to it, and I don't want to hold on to it. And nothing I do is magical or a miracle, even though it looks like that sometimes, and people have said that, and I said, no, I can teach you how to do this too. And so I'm passing on the baton. I'm opening up to teach more women about, or not just women, men too, because men can be lactation consultants, and everybody can get this knowledge. My first lactation student just passed her IBCLC exam, and I'll be starting courses in January, primarily focused on birth workers and doulas, and just anyone who wants to support families with breastfeeding. I'll be teaching these courses. I will be offering scholarships to young doulas, doulas of color, birth workers, and whoever just wants to learn how to better support families in breastfeeding.